Oh no. Do you see what I see? That's frost on my neighbor's roof. That wasn't supposed to happen last night. Okay, so it was expected to get chilly last night. About 37 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's 2 or 3 Celsius. I'll have to double check. But it wasn't supposed to get a frost. We were supposed to just kind of hover right above that line. So I didn't prepare or harvest anything or cover anything in blankets. So I guess we'll take a look at if it was just a light frost and maybe the plants are just a little bit nipped. If it didn't even make it to the ground, we'll see. Can't see my breath though. Well, not seeing any major damage. It could still just be way too early. When things thaw out a bit, you'll start seeing the frost nipped leaves. So guess I might have to check back later today. Squash definitely don't look the happiest. So I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest everything that, well, I can. Hopefully nothing was too damaged. It looks like a light frost. The grass, I mean, maybe I just didn't wake up early enough to see the frost on the grass, but the grass doesn't have any frost on it. I don't see any obviously wilted plants, but we'll have to check on them later today once it warms up a little bit and things have a chance to show their damage. But I'll keep you updated. All right, it's been a few hours. It's warmed up enough to lose one layer and the hat, and I think I got pretty lucky. First frost for my area isn't normally until the end of November, so getting it the first week of November was a little surprising, but it looks like it ended up just being a super light frost that didn't make it all the way to the ground. So as far as I can tell, I don't see any frost damage. These elephant ear definitely wouldn't look this happy and this good if they got any frost. I'm so happy that we skirted by on this one because I still have a lot of things that are producing, even odd things. Like I've got a watermelon up front that still has fruit on it that's still ripening. So I would have been a little irritated if that got killed in a frost this early. But there's still hope. There's no frost forecasted in the next 10 days. Honestly, the temperatures are supposed to warm back up. We're going to be getting back into the 70s again with lows maybe in the 50s. So, looks like I might be able to keep things going a little longer. I'm still pretty pepper rich. So, definitely want a chance to harvest all of these before we get that frost. Looks like I will have the chance though, so that's good. Even more peppers. These are the Corbaci peppers. I really haven't had much of a chance to try these yet, so I'm glad they didn't go, but they're pretty big. I also thought my eggplant was just about done because it hadn't produced anything in a little while, but then we got a bit of a warm up where we had a few weeks in the 80s, and lo and behold, eggplant. And the cutting I took off my tomato plant before it completely perished thanks to pest and disease in the heat of the summer, as is typical at South Carolina, has tomatoes on it. Green beans aren't toast yet, but they're not looking the best. I'm still getting a harvest off of them, so I'm not treating my garden with anything right now. I'm not doing anything to prevent the powdery mildew, so powdery mildew is pretty much run rampant. But it's the end of the season. I'm just happy to get whatever I can. The peas are flowering. I've got first little pea there. I've got them all over the place, but yeah, they did fine. But they're a bit more frost hardy regardless. Now the loofah vine is dead, but it didn't die off from the frost. It was choked out by the sweet potato vine. So what's left up there is maypop and a couple leftover fruit that I was just letting kind of dry on the vine a little bit. So I'm going to take those in today since the vine's dead. They're not getting any bigger. Surprise, surprise. I planted red skin potatoes in the spring. Not all of them sprouted. Well, they're sprouting now. So, fingers crossed there's enough time to get something out of them before we inevitably get the frost. Yeah, even these elephant ears look great, and they're in a much less protected area. Papaya looks unfazed, and that definitely wouldn't have survived a frost. And there's the watermelon I mentioned. She's getting there. I didn't even bring in my dragon fruit. So, I think it'll be a little bit of a reality check that, yeah, it's getting to be that time of year. So I'm absolutely thrilled that this very, very light frost didn't do any damage. It didn't make it to ground level, thank goodness. But I am gonna have to be more vigilant, pay attention to the weather a little bit closer, because we are in that gray area where we could get an early frost, or maybe we won't get a frost until December. It's really hard to tell, but waking up to see frost on the rooftops was a reminder, a bit of an eye-opener of, hey, yeah, it's not summer anymore. I'm gonna start thinking about prepping at least some of the cold-sensitive plants for winter, and checking the weather overnight to know if I need to harvest everything growing at that time before frost comes in and takes it all out. But thanks for coming along with me today. I'm sure not everyone was as lucky as me and did get their first frost, but spring's just around the corner. Now is when we get to start categorizing and going through all our seeds and our collections and planning for next year, which is like a nice fresh start. Have a good one. Bye.